And welcome back. So this is going to be a new little series I'm trying. I recently tried to explain a movie to somebody that I hadn't seen since like the mid 90s. And I kind of remembered things slightly different than apparently the way that the movie actually worked. So it ended up being a really funny explanation. We both laughed about it, and I kind of thought to myself, like, this might be kind of humorous to make into a video. So I'm gonna try something here. And try something new and different. And so what I'm gonna do is real quick, basically horrible explanations of movies that I have not seen for quite a while. So we're going to start things off with the 90s classic Mask of Zorro, which I noticed just came out on Netflix again. So, or maybe not again, maybe the first time, but it is out on Netflix, and I kind of wanted to watch it. But before I watch it, I want to see how well I can kind of remember the story. So I'm going to try my best to try to keep these to about 5 minutes or less, and see what kind of horrible explanation I can do of this movie. So spoiler alerts, or maybe not, I don't know. There are questionable spoilers in this explanation. Alright, and go. Okay, so Zorro is old. It's Hannibal Lecter, Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, I almost said Dennis Hoffman. Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal Lecter is Zorro. He's older, and he's kind of doing like his last mission, getting rid of this Don that's in California, that's basically trying to, being a dictator, trying to take over the world or whatever. And so he, doing his Zorro thing, kills all of his guards and tells him to leave and never come back. So Zorro goes back home, and you see his wife and his new baby daughter. And as a newborn, and then the Don comes into his house and now knows that Zorro is Hannibal Lecter. So he kills the wife, takes the daughter, abducts her basically, and raises her as his own, and puts Zorro in jail. So fast forward 20 years, and Zorro breaks out of jail and runs into one of these brothers. So there's two brothers, Antonio Banderas and some rando dude. And the Antonio Banderas' brother gets murdered by this douchebag of a right-hand man to the Don that the original Zorro had kicked out of California. So, dude's a total long blonde-haired douchebag who's very unlikable. Well, he kills the brother, so Antonio Banderas is all ticked off. He runs into Zorro, who, is now 20 years older, so he's super old, and can no longer do much. So he trains him to basically become the next Zorro. So Zorro trains the next Zorro. And of course, Antonio Banderas, who is this very handsome, suave gentleman, runs into the daughter, who is Catherine Zeta-Jones. So the original Zorro, his daughter, who is now apparently 20, although she's probably like 30 when this movie was done, is Catherine Zeta-Jones. They run into each other. They kind of fall in love a little bit, and that's the whole love story aspect of it. But she thinks her daughter is this Don of California, whatever. I don't know what that title means, but she thinks that's her father. But she has some suspicion because she runs into some strangers out in the courtyards or whatever that are like, oh, I knew your mother. And she's like, well, how would you know my mother? Like, my mother was from Spain, and she died when giving birth to me, and which is totally false. The douchebag Don dude who raised her, has been lying to her about who her dad is. So she finds out the original Zorro breaks into, and basically his mission was to tell to get to his daughter and tell her, that I'm your daddy. And so she kind of believes him. And meanwhile, the Don is trying to buy, this Don is trying to buy California. from whoever the heck owns it at the time. And so he's hired a bunch of these slaves, and by hired I mean he has got slaves. He's not hired them for anything. So he's got slaves to basically mine Californian gold. So he's gonna buy the gold, or buy California with the gold from California. So he's stealing money from the guy who owns it and buying California with his own money, basically. So he puts like the Spanish stamp on the gold. So basically say, oh yeah, it came from Spain. I don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. Well, so he's got like hundreds and hundreds of slaves there. And his plan is like, oh, I got to get rid of the evidence. So after we get enough gold to buy California, I'm going to blow it up and kill all these slaves. So the old Zorro and the new Zorro know this plan, and they go and kill him. And what's her face, the daughter, Catherine Zeta-Jones, is helping, and they all live happily ever after. Except the old Zorro dies. Yeah, he dies. The new Zorro and the old Zorro's daughter, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and the new Zorro, Antonio Banderas, they fall in love. I think they have a baby at the end, and yeah, that's it. So that is the quick 5-minute rundown of Zorro. Or the Mask of Zorro, I guess. I'm thinking that was pretty accurate, minus, the Hannibal Lecter aspect of it. But yeah, and I don't know much about the titles of Dons back in the day. So, all right, that was it. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully nothing got spoiled for you. Later.